Sidney Powell is trying out a new legal defense in the state of Georgia as she attempts to get the charges against her completely dismissed. And this week, Sidney Powell went into court, filed a motion that basically says, yeah, I did the things that you're accusing me of, the things I've been criminally charged for, but I was allowed to do it. In fact, she said she was, quote, authorized to do the things that she was arrested for. I don't know. No, I'll read you part of her filing in just a moment. But think about this for a second. And this is what's funny about all of these Trump co-defendants in Georgia and Trump himself. None of them are denying that they did the things, right? Like that should be step one in your criminal defense. Like, I didn't do this. I didn't break the law. But instead, they already know they can't try to claim that. So they have all immediately gone to yeah, I did it, but it's totally cool that I did it, right? Like, I'm allowed to break the law. Like, they've immediately just gone to admitting it, but I'm okay. Like, it's okay if I do it. Here's what the filing says. As the state well knows, Coffee County officials authorized Sullivan Strickler LLC to image the voting systems in the county on January 7th, 2021. Both the election supervisor for the county and the board authorized the review. In fact, the election supervisor sent an invitation to another lawyer who was not working with Ms. Powell to have the forensic imaging done. This means that no data was stolen, there was no fraud, and nothing was done without authorization. So they're saying you got to drop the charges because they told us we could come in and do this. Now, here's the problem with this line of defense, and I'm going to go back to the common analogy that I use of a person robbing the bank, okay? Here it is. Let's assume you want to go in and rob the bank, and the president of the bank, the CEO of the bank, whatever it is, the top guy in charge of the bank says, you know what? You can rob my bank. I don't care. Rob us. Like, you have my permission to rob the bank. So you're like, oh, sweet. You go in with your big sack with the $sign on it. You fill it up with money and you go outside. The cops are still waiting for you. Why? Because it doesn't matter that you had permission to rob the bank. You still robbed the bank. That permission will mean nothing in court. Because it's still a crime to do the thing, and no one is authorized anywhere in this country, in any position, at any place, public or private, no one is authorized to authorize you to break the law. You see how that works? So it doesn't matter if you had permission and from whom. And by the way, this is the first I've ever heard about her having permission to do that. You would think that would actually be something she would have brought up, you know, during depositions or during testimony in front of the grand jury. And if she did in fact have permission and that was verifiable, they likely wouldn't have charged her with this. But here's the problem. Do you know who's in charge of all the elections in the state of Georgia? Including, you know, basically recount efforts, things like that, forensics. That would be the Secretary of State. So that would have been Brad Raffensperger. If you didn't have Brad Raffensperger's authorization, you're not permitted to go in there, hire an outside company on your own, send them there after hours to copy data off the voting machines. That includes sensitive private data about the voters themselves. See? So this defense is quite possibly one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. And that says a lot, especially since we're talking about Sidney Powell, that this might be one of the dumbest things we've ever heard. But this is what desperate people do. She's desperate to get out of the charges. And so she's coming up, or her lawyers are coming up with the dumbest legal arguments possible. Because here's the thing, they're using this not necessarily as their defense, but they're trying to use it to just get all the charges dismissed. If this is true, and you can prove that you did in fact have this legally binding authorization, you bring it up at trial. Like, you don't just get to file your evidence and then say, hey, okay, so you got to dismiss it. No, that's over with. Like, that part's done. You have to go to trial and then say, okay, we're submitting this as evidence that I was authorized to pay this outside group to come over here and copy the voting machine data. Once the jury sees that, they're like, oh, okay, cool. Then I guess it's over. That's how you do this. You don't get to avoid the trial altogether. You bring up your evidence that you have at the trial, if, of course, this evidence exists, which, again, since this is the first time we're ever hearing about it, kind of makes me wonder if it's real or not. I know I have my opinion on it, but I can't say for certain because I haven't seen it or haven't not seen that it doesn't exist. So I guess we'll see at trial if these authorizations are real or not. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.